Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nilesh and you are watching Techie Programmer. So today in this video we are going to learn about variables in Python. So let's get started. First of all, let me just open up my Pycharm. And if you have no idea how to install and set up Pycharm for your Python, then you can just check out my previous video, or I will just post the link above here. And then this is our main screen. So this will be the first video on Python, the course wherein we are actually writing a few lines of code. So let me just give you an overview. What is this here? Okay, so this side is where we have our files, and this is the area we write our code. And as soon as we run this, we will also have a output display here below terminal. Okay, so today we are going to talk about the subject related to variables in Python. And what are variables? So variables are basically a kind of empty container, you can think, wherein which are used to assign a value. You can just think it as like a, if I say a is a variable, then it is a empty container which has a label called a, and we can store any data in it. So we will be later on discussing the data types, but for now we are just going to discuss what are variables and what are the rules of writing the variables and how you can assign a variable. So let's get started. Let me just give an example for a variable. If I say I want a variable called as number, and if I want to set that number equals to 10, so let me just say I have a favorite number which I wanted to set it as 10. Then what I can do is write it as FAVT, like example, whatever, you can just write FAVT stands favorite number. Okay, NUMBER. So here this favorite number FAVT underscore NUMBER is your variable. Now I'm going to assign 10 to it so that it stores the value or holds the value of 10. So that I can do by using an assignment operator, that is equal to. Then let me write 10. So what happens here is this FAVT underscore number, which is our variable, holds the value 10 with the help of this assignment operator. So now this value of 10 is inside this. So there are certain set of rules that you need to follow in order to write a variable. So first rule is that a variable name cannot start with a number. For example, if I want to declare a variable called as first number, so I cannot write it as one number, because this here you can see even it highlights you because it's an error. It's not a valid style of writing a variable. So you can just see you cannot start a variable name with a number. You can just write it as something like FIRST first number. It makes sense, like even though both are kind of means give you the same information, but still it's just that it shouldn't start with a number. So that point is clear. You can use here you can see I have used an underscore here. I can use an underscore in order to differentiate, or what you can do is you can just use something like this. There are different type of style of writing the variable names or declaring a variable. So just make sure that your variable doesn't start with a number, and it doesn't contain any special characters. Like for example, you cannot write it as like at the rate or just give a hash in between in your variable. And your variable can consist alphanumeric values. For example, your variable can be something like number one. Okay, you can name a variable like this, that is you can use a digit inside, but you cannot use it on the initial. So this is how we declare a variable, and these are the rules or certain set of rules that you need to use. And you cannot use a space, like you cannot go and say like number space 1 is equals to 10, because this is an invalid variable. You can start with a capital letter or small letter, that doesn't matter. So I hope the rules of declaring a variable are clear. And assigning a variable is this: we use an assignment operator. that is equal to, which says that we are going to set that 10 equals to the favorite number. So now let me check the container, that is the variable. In order to check, like for example, I'm saying that the favorite number is equals to 10, but let us see that in our output section. So what we are going to do here is type print, which just prints out whatever you say. For example, if I want to print a value held by a variable, then I will just type it as, let me just control C, control V, I guess, okay. So now what I'm doing here is I'm taking a variable called favt underscore number equals to 10, that is I'm setting it or assigning it, and then later on trying to print the value that is inside that particular number. So you can see after clicking run, I have got this 10 as an output because of this. Now let us understand the updation of a variable. In Python, you can update a same variable. For example, what you can do is now as your mood changes, and if you decide your favorite number is not 10 and is 7, so what you're going to do, you can just update the variable, that is favt number equals to, because again we are going to assign that equals to 7. So now what happens is if I run this, here you can see it prints 7. It is because this script is line by line execution. So what happens on the first run is at the number 3 it is set to 10, then the favorite number is set to 10. Later as the program proceeds, again I'm updating the value or resetting the value to 7. So I will set favorite number is equals to 7, and then after that if I'm printing it, so what happens is it prints the updated value or the latest value nearer to that particular print statement. So the updated value or the nearest value is 7 here, and hence it prints out the 7. One more thing I wanted to tell you is about this here section, that is in order to whatever the script we write, it has an extension called, or in the Python we have an extension called .py, which stands for .python. And if you want to create any Python file, what you need to do is just click on here, and you can just hit on command N and new, and you can just go down here Python file, and you can just create a random file name. For example, for this, if we're going to start with, again here, if you want to practice with this, you can just name it as variable. You can just, there is no necessary condition or compulsory condition that there is sort of a declaration or a style of writing a file name. You can just randomly write anything that makes sense, and make sure whenever you declare your variable or identifier, we also call the variable as an identifier, because it has an identification of another stuff or the data. So make sure that you use something that makes sense. While we cannot use like abcd, it cannot be a variable name, because whenever you are going to use that in your program, so it should make sense, that makes your program more easy, neat and clean. So let me just hit enter, and you can see a variable.py file is created, and you can just write your code here and run it. So this is how we create a Python file, and this is how we declare a variable, assign a variable, update a variable, and certain set of rules that go on the style of writing a variable name. And variable are also called as identifier. So we will wind up this here. That's it for today. See you in the next video. If you have reached this end, please do like, share and subscribe. So see you soon.